What is up, YouTube family? You are back on the other side with yours truly, Mike G. And tonight I am honored beyond belief to bring you the story of a truly inspirational person. She overcame a childhood that most of us can't even imagine to become one of the most prolific fighters in all of women's UFC history. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Randa, the Quiet Storm, MARKOS-THOMAS. How are you doing, Randa?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. It's truly an honor to talk to you. Your childhood was quite interesting. Tell me about where you were born and a little bit, maybe your earliest memories, brothers, sisters, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was born in Baghdad, Iraq. I had one sister who was born before me, so I'm a second born, and we were both born in Baghdad, Iraq. And then because of the war, and my dad was in the military, and he didn't have a choice. He was either he stayed and got killed. It was during the Iraq-Iran war.
Hmm.
He either stayed and got murdered or killed there, or we escaped and tried to survive. And yeah, my parents had a very traumatic time. They had the whole military looking for them. They because
Wow.
if you escape the military there, you're
Hmm.
basically you either die in combat or you die with them coming after you.
Right.
So my parents had a really hard time. We finally escaped. We ended up in a camp in Turkey, and from there, my parents went through like very hard time. My mom was we were with my mom. My dad had to leave us because they wanted us to go together in order to kill us all together. So they would hold my mom hostage and put a gun to her head, and they would like keep her in a room, and every couple minutes come in and stick the gun to her head, say, "I'm gonna kill you, we're gonna kill you," and then laugh at her and then leave. And they would do this like this one time they did this to her like all through the night. And there was a
Wow.
time where she was with like seven young men. She said they were all like in their 20s, and they were helping her and stuff because they were all held hostage together. And they called all their names out, and they didn't call my mom's name, and they didn't call our name. So she was freaking out, thinking that she was the one who was going to get taken to get executed. And so they
Hmm.
called all their names out, put them all in front of her, lined them up, and killed them all in front of her. And she realized that it was actually them who was getting executed, and we were getting sent back. Yeah, they like I can
Wow.
remember a few things because I don't know. My sister, she's older than me, but she completely blocks everything out. Where I remember one time being in a jail cell. It was like a closet because it had my mom, my
Hmm.
brother, me, and my head brother had just been born when we got to Turkey. Me and my sister, and then my dad was put in a jail cell across when they caught us. And then I remember like bits and pieces of that. I was very young. I was only 3. I
Right.
remember being on an airplane on the way here. But my parents are the ones that went through like most of the trauma, all of the trauma, really. And I just remember bits and pieces. But the real trauma, I think, happened when we came to Canada, and just my parents coping with
Hmm.
completely different life.
Right.
Completely, my dad, being in the military, seeing all that stuff, seeing all his friends die in front of him and everything. He turned to
Hmm.
alcohol. So we were, he didn't know how to have a family.
Right.
He didn't know how to have kids. I don't In a way, I don't condone that behavior or anything, but like
Sure.
you can't face all that stuff and then come and try to live a normal life. Like we had a
Sure.
really rough life because of my father, because of his addiction to alcohol, because of his trauma.
Hmm.
He was very abusive. He was very abusive to all of us, and very like it was all about alcohol, gambling, all this stuff. He didn't know how to cope.
Right.
So we had an extremely rough life growing up. But like at the end of the day, like they went through what they went through, and it's you can't really blame them.
Hmm.
Everybody reacts differently to trauma. It was a really hard time, but I'm just really happy that my parents went through all that for us to get us here to
Right.
Canada, to be able to have these opportunities that I would have never even had, or I would have never even survived. Like you never
Right.
know what could have happened. But a lot of people went through the same thing that we
Hmm.
went through with escaping and trying to get to a better place. Where a lot of people will tell you the same story from Baghdad, where they had to go to camps in Turkey and wait
Hmm.
wait for a visa. So a lot of us went through the same kind of thing. But I think my mom and dad went through a little bit of a harder time with the military being after them, and being held captive with the Turkey military there. That was pretty hard for my mom. And even when she talks about it, she's afraid to talk about it sometimes because she
Right.
still thinks that like they might come after her. Like she still to this day thinks about that. So,
Wow.
but you know, I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed to be able to even tell that kind of story for my parents, you know, and to be able to do what I've, you know, follow my dream even with all that.
Right. The actual escape. How did the process? How did they escape? Or I guess
They
how did you all escape?
like they literally walked. They literally
Okay.
went on like my mom said they were on a donkey. They walked for days. They went through
Wow.
taxis. They literally like on hand and foot. Like my mom, she was pregnant with my brother, and then when she got to Turkey, she gave birth
Wow.
to him. So it's pretty crazy to hear. Like she said, like there were times where she didn't sleep at all for days and days and days, and she would like wake up and like not know how she got to where she was, and
Wow.
just like she just, you know, she's always says God was watching over her. God helped her get to where she is, and if it wasn't for God, you know, we wouldn't make it.
Absolutely. You get to Canada. How do you discover combat sports?
Um. Uh. Sorry. Can I go and stop my baby?
Absolutely. You can do whatever you need to do.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I have a different life now.
I understand.
Sorry. I'll just be 1 second.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No worries. You don't have
Let's
to
do this
apologize.
again. Sorry. You were saying.
Your discovery. How did you get into combat sports?
Okay, so I had cousins that like we would see all the time, and they were into wrestling and all that combat sports, and um, they would come over and like beat us up and stuff, and I just really like was intrigued with like the sport and like how like they were so passionate about it, and I just like when I went to high school, they were, you know, introducing like, hey, whoever wants to join wrestling, you know, and I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. So I went into wrestling. I tried out for my first day, and I went home. I was so super, super excited about it. Told my parents, you know, I joined the wrestling team, and they're like, no, you didn't. No, you're not. I'm like, what do you mean? You know, like my cousins do it. Why don't I? You know, I want to do it too. And they said, no, you're a girl. That's embarrassing. You know, coming from a Middle Eastern family, girls don't do that kind of thing. You know, you get married, you have children, and you know, you do girly things, and that's embarrassing to the family. So they literally, my uncle came to my wrestling practice,
Hmm.
and because I went anyways, the next day I went anyways, and he grabbed me by my ear and pulled me out in front of everybody. It totally embarrassed me. And so the next year I went and told them that I was doing volleyball, and
Okay.
I continued wrestling in secret. And that's from wrestling. I loved it so much. I wanted to pursue wrestling, and they wouldn't let me leave. After, like, you know, when I was ready to graduate, I told them like I want to go away for wrestling. I want to go away for
Hmm.
college for wrestling, and they were like, no. And then I was completely depressed for a couple years because it was like it was such a big passion. I was so passionate
Hmm.
about wrestling, and I felt like there was like a hole inside me, like I was missing
Right.
something for a couple years. And then I found jujitsu, and I was like, wow, that looks just like wrestling. I've never heard of jiu-jitsu, and I got into that, and I picked it up really quickly. And then from there, my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, I watched him fight one day, and instantly I was like, I'm gonna do that. And from there, I've been fighting ever since.
Awesome. Where did you start doing your first serious training? What gym?
It was a small gym here in Windsor. It was a long time ago.
Okay. You trained at TriStar for a while, didn't you?
I did go to TriStar for a bit. You know, I was like kind of like looking around, like everybody's telling you should go this place, you should go this place, and I didn't want to, think that like maybe if I didn't do this, maybe something would have been different. So I did try to go to TriStar. I fought out of there for one fight. It wasn't for me. It's a good gym. It's very busy and everything, but it wasn't for me. So I came back here and was training out of Michigan. I've been like all over the place, but I
Okay.
honestly, my favorite place was in Texas. When I went to Texas, I felt like I was home. Like I kind of was kicking myself. Like I wish I would have done this sooner, and it was a little late, but it's okay. I'm still hoping to get back into it one day, hopefully.
And that's Luter MMA, correct?
Yes, Luter's
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu.
Travis.
Yeah, Travis Luter.
Okay. Your pro debut, November 17th, 2012, IFC 61, defeating Alana Jones by armbar. How did it feel to get that first pro win?
That was like such a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. I
Hmm.
had been so before I
Years
turned
of
pro.
validation.
Yeah, it was like, well, for years, for 2 years, I was trying to get a fight, and everyone kept backing out, or the fight just didn't happen for two
Hmm.
years, and I was
Wow.
so close to just walking away from it because
Sure.
I would have a fight booked, I would cut the weight, and like a couple days before they would cancel on me, and
Mm.
this happened for 2 years, and it was like every few months, I would have a fight booked, and it would cancel on me, and then finally I had a fight booked and they canceled on me, and then they booked Alana like the week of the fight or something like that,
Okay.
and it wasn't at 115, it was supposed to be at 125, and then she couldn't make 125, so we literally fought at like I think 135,
Oh,
and
wow.
because she couldn't make the weight, and so I was just like, I don't care, I just want to fight. I just like, this girl's actually showing up to the fight, I'm gonna do it. So yeah, and I went in there just thinking like, win or lose, I really don't care, I just want to fight. It's been too long, and if I don't take this fight, I think I'm gonna walk away from it. And then
Right.
so yeah, I took the fight, I got the win. It was the best thing. Like it just felt like so much weight was lifted off my shoulders, and finally like I got that fight I was looking for, because I was amateur for 2 years, and then I turned pro when I didn't have a fight, and then when I
Gotcha.
turned pro, that fight backed out too, so that's how it happened.
Did you immediately know this is what you wanted to do with your life?
No. I just did
No?
this for fun. This was completely
Okay.
for fun. Like I was a pharmacy technician. I went to school, and I really wasn't my favorite thing to do, but I just did it because my mom wanted me to go to school and finish school and everything. But this was just my passion. I just like it was just like kind of a hobby, and I was good at it, and I wanted to get
Hmm.
better at it, and just for fun, and eventually it ended up paying my bills. So it was awesome.
Tell me about the Ultimate Fighter season 20. How did you end up there? I kind of know already how the experience was for you, but what can you tell us about that?
Um, it was one of the best experiences of my life, but also one of the hardest. And
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, it was a difficult thing to do. But man, I'm so happy and so blessed that I had that opportunity. It was awesome. We were in a house with the best of in the world.
Hmm.
So it was just such an awesome experience. But at the same time, it was very difficult. They take your phone away, they take all
Yeah.
contact with the outside world, and you live together and you eat together, and then you beat the shit out of each other. Like it was
Yeah.
such a surreal thing, and it was a lot of fun though. But like looking back at it, I learned a lot from just those 6 weeks.
I would imagine just as much of that show is mental as it is physical. Having to put up with so many different personalities in one spot that doesn't train your mind. I don't know what will.
Yeah, it was definitely crazy mental, like especially like when you're used to fight week and everything, like
Hmm.
doing things a certain way,
Sure.
preparing a certain way. You have your team, you have your, all routines that you do, and then
Hmm.
take all that away from everyone, put him with a whole new team,
Hmm.
and in a whole new house living together. It was crazy.
I ask anyone who's been on The Ultimate Fighter, I always ask this question. We saw in every season, we see all kinds of crazy things. Is there maybe a story that happened in that season that you can share that maybe the cameras didn't catch that might make people laugh?
Yeah, I think I don't know if they showed this, but Ashley Daly almost killed me. She like ran me over. We went golf or go-karting. They took us
Oh
go-karting,
my God.
and I don't know, she just like, I don't know what she did, but she ended up on top of me. And like my head was here and her go-kart was like right on me like
Oh
this.
my God.
That was pretty crazy. And like sometimes like I think back, I'm like, shit, like that actually happened. That was, I don't know if they caught that on camera, but yeah, she almost
I
killed
don't
me.
remember seeing that.
Yeah. She
Well,
was
I'm glad
literally
you didn't get.
like
That's wild.
yeah.
Um, let's see, season 20, the season finale. You make your UFC debut versus Jessica Panay. What were your thoughts on that fight going in, the decision, and finally being in the UFC?
Um okay, so I'm really, really hard on myself. So I kind of when I walked away from that fight, I just felt like it wasn't, I didn't give it everything. I felt like um I could have done more. Like it was a really tough fight and everything, but and then also
Mhm.
like right when you get into the UFC and they give you your contract, they tell you you're in, it's like all this pressure, this new kind of pressure is put on you. It's like
Sure.
when I was fighting before, no one cared. I couldn't pay people to come watch me. I literally would buy tickets for people who said they were going to come watch me and they wouldn't show up. And so now it's like you got all these people around the world watching you and telling you how much, you know, you influence them and stuff and like how much you mean to them, and then you got to go out there and perform for them. It's just, it's a completely different kind of pressure that I was not expecting, and that definitely affected me a bit right off the bat. It's like, well, like you're getting all these messages, all these, you know, and like that was pretty crazy, but it was like surreal. Is like, you know, everything that you, because I watch on TV, I was watching all these fights, and then I'm like
Mhm.
there, and I'm like, wait, I've seen this on TV. This is insane. You know, the huge venue and everything. It was awesome. Jessica Penne, you know, that fight was, it was a really good fight. I remember like that was a pretty good fight, and the way it went, I feel like it could have went either way. A lot of my fights could have went either way, um, but it is what it is. It's the past.
Sure. Do you think? Do you think you would be in any different spot today if some of those split decisions maybe would have gone the other way?
Oh, definitely, definitely. A lot of those fights, I think, you know, little things could have changed so much.
Hmm.
Like my fight in Mexico with um the former champ at 135, Alexa Grasso.
Hmm.
You know, like it just sucks because like the last 30 seconds I couldn't give it anymore. Like I literally could
Hmm.
not breathe and I was trying, but like that those 30 seconds like made such a big difference with the whole
Yeah.
fight. You know, it's like, you know, little things like that. It's like, and I feel like if had I won that fight, you know, the next step would have been different. A lot of the fights I've had have been that way, and it
Sure.
sucks, but you know, it's not it wasn't meant to be.
Gotcha. Um, UFC Fight Night Lewis versus Brown. You took on future two-time strawweight champion Carla Esparza. Tell me about the result of that fight. Was that a fun fight?
That was the best fight of my life. No, literally, like, we were on the show together, and
Hmm.
she was not very nice,
Right.
and she had no reason to not be nice, and they were trying to like come up with these reasons to not be nice to me the whole time, and they had no reason. And so I like made a mental note of that, like that when I
Hmm.
fight her, I'm gonna walk out with the win. And like it didn't matter what was going on, I'm fighting Carla Esparza, and that's all that was going through my head when I fought her. I'm fighting Carla Esparza. And you know, I respected her so much before the Ultimate Fighter. I was like, you know, like I didn't really know anybody on that show, but I knew her, and I
Right.
was really happy to be there with her and everything. And then when our the way like we were together on the show didn't come out very well, and so that actually worked out in my favor because I went in there with like a vengeance. And I was so happy, man. When that happened, I was like, I don't even care what happens with my career. This fight meant everything to me. It was awesome.
That's great. Your let's see, UFC Fight Night Thompson versus Pettis. You submitted Angela Hill in the first round by armbar. Given what a tough and respected competitor she is and is considered in the MMA community, how did you feel after that fight?
Oh, I felt like gold. She's got a big mouth, and it was like it was kind of like one of those things that I had in my. It's so weird. Like I'm such a like a mental fighter. You know, when somebody pisses me off, it's like I see red. I
Hmm.
don't care about who you are or what's going on. Like I'm coming after you. You're like when I fought her, my mind was like, don't waste your time with her. Like that's literally what was going on with my head. I'm not saying I'm not taking anything from her. She's an
Sure,
awesome fighter. She's an
I
amazing
understand.
fighter. But in my head, like in the back of my head, that's all that kept playing in my head. Like, don't
Hmm.
waste your time with her. Don't waste your. Just do what you need to do and walk out. And the same thing went through my head with Felice. She's an awesome fighter. And when I was fighting her, while I was fighting her, I was like, shit, this girl's strong. But in my head was like, don't waste your time with her. Don't waste your. It's such a weird like thing that goes on in my head. But that was. And I've never had a submission in the UFC before that fight. I got another 50 grand for that. I was like, this is awesome. That was a fun fight.
Yeah, the 50 grand's always nice.
Yeah.
Your final win in the UFC came at UFC Fight Night Costa versus Vittori against, and I'm going to try and say this right, Livia Hinata Souza.
Yeah, I think.
What was the result of that fight, and did you know it would be your last fight for a while?
Um, I had a feeling it might have been, the last. But I didn't go in there thinking that. I just went in there thinking I needed a win, and I've been training my butt off at Travis Luter's gym. I was so focused, and I was really upset with the fight before that and how it ended, um, with the knockout. And so I was just focused on like I want to win this fight, and I don't know. It's just it sucked the way it ended up, like with it being my last fight, because I have so much more to give. But at the same time, like if they didn't like if I didn't have that bit of a break, I feel like I
Hmm.
wouldn't be where I am now. I have 2 kids right now, and I'm really happy. And but it was an awesome fight. I got to go out there. I got to have for 3 full rounds. I got
Hmm.
to showcase some of my skills and everything. And she's an awesome fighter, and I got to meet her. She's really nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a really good experience, but it really really sucked. It really broke my heart. I had an inkling of maybe this could be my last fight because I didn't have another fight on my contract after
Hmm.
that,
Okay,
but I was hopeful, and I just thought of it as like, just go out there and do your thing and don't think about that at all.
sure. Looking back on your career, what would you say is the happiest moment?
Oh, definitely the fight with Carla Esparza. I mean, she's a former champ. She's an Invicta champ. And
Yeah.
it was awesome. That was one of my happiest fights. One of my best accomplishments, I think.
Do you think it's possible that they treated you the way they did in the Ultimate Fighter house because they were intimidated?
Yeah, definitely. I think see, I come off as really quiet. I know I'm rambling on right now. I haven't slept in a month.
No, you're not.
But I'm actually come off as really quiet, and especially when I'm around uh environments that I'm not used to. I'm
Hmm.
out of my element. I get really really I shut down, and I like kind of like
Okay.
I'm very quiet. I think they didn't like that, and they didn't like everybody was very very talkative, very outgoing and everything, and I just like to sit back and listen. And they didn't, I think that intimidated a lot of people, and especially when I won my first fight with Tisha,
Hmm.
like I think Tisha thought she was just gonna walk through me, and because nobody really knew who I was or knew my name
Right.
or what I was capable of. That was just like and I wasn't part of the Invicta group because they had like the Invicta group and they had
Hmm.
the other random girls. So I was one of the
Right.
random girls they picked, and so yeah, nobody really knew what I was capable of. And after that first one with Tisha, it was like that's when the intimidation set in. And then they
Hmm.
gave me Felice, and then Felice is the type of person who likes to get in your head, and she wasn't getting
Hmm.
in my head, and she couldn't get it. She couldn't. She was very very frustrated why she couldn't like trigger me at all.
Right.
So, and I knew what she was doing. So yeah, that definitely had everyone thinking like, what's wrong with this girl? Like, why is she reacting? So yeah, that definitely had a big thing to do with how everyone was.
If you could go back to the beginning of your career, is there anything you would do? Well, obviously, there's lots of things you would do differently, but if there was one thing you could redo or change, what would that be?
Um, I think I would like travel more, because like with my whole career I wanted to stay close to home. I wanted to,
Hmm.
I'm really family oriented, and I wanted to stay close to home. I was so scared to go away and leave everything, and I regret that a lot. Like, as much as like I love my family and everything, it affected, like, you only get one chance at this. Give
Yeah.
it everything you have. And I wish I could, if I could go back in time, I wouldn't, like, everyone's still here, so everyone's waiting for me still, and having been able to just like drop everything and go and do what I needed to do, then come back, I think things would be a lot more different. I would have been to a lot different places. I probably would have been in Texas sooner than later. So definitely, like, make those moves, make those big moves that you need to do. Don't
Right.
hesitate. Don't like don't lock yourself down just because of other people, and especially like people they don't know what your goals are. They don't know what's going on in your life.
Hmm.
Like, focusing on others is just, they don't, at the end of the day, they don't really care. It
Yeah.
sucks. It sucks. Like, I had to learn that the hard way. At the end of the day, like, they were just like, you should have done it then. It's like, oh
Hmm.
shit. Like,
um, where did Quiet Storm come from? How did you come up with that, or how was it
uh,
given to you?
I was on the Ultimate Fighter, and Stitch Duran was there, and I was, like I said, I was really quiet, and I would just sit there and just watch the fights, and everyone was like screaming, whatever, and I would just like absorb it all. And every time he walked by me, he's like, "You're the quiet storm. You're the quiet storm."
Okay.
After I beat Tisha, he kept, every time he'd see me, like, "You're the quiet storm," and I was like, "I'm gonna keep that." And he's like, "You should." He's like, "It's you. It's who you are," and that's how I got the name. And of course,
Okay.
if this strand gives you a name, you keep it.
I have been lucky enough to interview Stitch. Do you love him as much as I do?
Oh yeah, he's an awesome person. He's such a
He is the
good-hearted
sweetest,
person.
coolest guy
Yeah,
ever.
yeah. I'm so blessed to have been able to meet him and have like conversation with him. He's an awesome dude.
Hmm. Do you know his inswell that he made? Are you familiar with it? The curved one?
I don't think so.
Okay, for here's a little background about Stitch. For a long time, the metal inswell that they use was flat, which doesn't make a lot of sense because the face is contoured.
Hmm.
Stitch actually invented the one that everyone uses now that is contoured to the face, and he has his own brand that says Stitch engraved across the handle. UFC 300, I was watching, and the cutmen were using Stitch's inswell. However, his name across it was taped over so that
Wow,
it wasn't showing, so that nobody had to give Stitch his cut. I thought that was
that's
really awful.
that's sad. I don't understand what all of that happened there, but that sucks.
Yeah,
That sucks.
I
That's too
thought that
bad.
was pretty petty. Um,
Yeah.
where'd the red hair come from?
Um. Okay.
I love it,
So.
by the way. It's awesome.
Thank you. After the Ultimate Fighter, like, a lot of the girls were doing like, like posting nudes and like all this stuff, and like trying to stand out, and
Hmm.
I wanted to stand out, but I'm not willing to do that stuff. That's just not me. It's not
Right.
like who I am, and it's not what I want to, push out there. So I just want to do something to help me stand out. And
Okay.
actually, my sister was like, "Do it red. Red's awesome. Red will make it stand out and make you stand out." And I honestly, it was my sister who pushed me into it.
Okay.
But I
Yeah, it's
love it.
great. It worked.
Thank you.
These next questions are the ones I was telling you about. They're just kind of weird questions that I want to know the answer to. Um, if you don't mind, pick one and kind of tell me why. Pulled pork or brisket?
Brisket.
Okay.
Oh,
Sliced, chopped, or burnt ends?
uh, burnt end.
Absolutely. Okay.
Crispy is delicious.
Both in their prime, Ali or Tyson?
um, I have to say Ali.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Coffee or energy drinks?
Coffee. Definitely
Okay. Are
coffee.
you a coffee fanatic like a lot of people, or is it just one cup a day?
Oh no, I usually have just one cup a day. But yeah, I was addicted to the Tim Hortons here, but not anymore. I just make my own at home. I've like mastered my own type of coffee and like my own
Awesome.
flavor, so it's good.
A connoisseur.
Yeah.
All right. Ski resort or cruise ship?
Oh, ski resort. I'm
Okay.
afraid of the ocean. Hell no, and I can't swim.
All right. Girls' night or date night?
Date night. I don't have too many friends.
Okay. Quick finish or epic war?
Epic war.
Awesome.
Epic war. I don't know. I love it.
Something about it.
Yeah.
Both in their prime again, GSP or Anderson Silva?
I'd have to go with GSP, a fellow
Okay.
Canadian.
You think he would do to
He's
Anderson what Chael did?
uh GSP is like the best of all time. I
Yeah.
mean, like he was a little like boring and stuff sometimes, but you can't mess with GSP. He's just been amazing and
Yep.
just amazing.
Okay. Uh, let's say it's your birthday and Dana White has decided to pay for a concert just for you, and you can have anyone ever up on stage singing happy birthday to you. Who's singing happy birthday?
Oh, I don't know. Anyone ever?
Anyone ever.
I have no idea.
Who's your favorite musician?
I don't really have one.
Really?
Well, I mean, I used to like Coldplay and that kind of stuff.
There we go.
Yeah, I guess them.
There we go. Coldplay. Who is your favorite fighter ever?
Right now, my favorite fighter is what's her name? Valentina Shevchenko.
She's
A
amazing.
beast. She's
Yeah.
a beast.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely love her. I love her. Like the way she fights is just like she doesn't hesitate. She just goes. Like it's just amazing to watch the way she fights. And then boy or girl, she's the best.
Yeah. What do you think of her two close fights with Amanda?
I think
Right decision?
I think she got robbed now. No.
Me too.
I'm really like I really like her, and I really like the way she fights and like the way she's so precise and so like she's like an amazing art to it when you watch her.
The bullet.
Yeah.
A fight that you never got that you would have loved. What would a dream fight for you have been? If you could fight anybody.
I wanted to fight a few people, but I would have liked to fight Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I would because a lot of times, like with the way I am, is like when I'm up against a really good fighter, they bring out the best in me, and I really feel like that fight would have bring out the best in me. And I think, and I do like a lot of times, like I'll do things that like probably shouldn't do, like like I'll like upset a lot of fighters that I probably shouldn't, like I'll beat fighters that people probably think I shouldn't beat, but I think I would have done really, really well, and I really wanted that fight, but it just didn't work out. But I think that would have been a really good fight for me.
I would have loved to have seen that.
That would have been cool.
What is the worst injury you've sustained in your career?
The worst injury was when I tore my MCL. Yeah, it was my MCL and my kneecap. I tore both, and I fought 4 weeks later. And like a week before that, I got like tapped right on the MCL and it felt like somebody lit me on fire. And I thought I was gonna like die. I was like literally in the back room praying to God that she wouldn't hit me in the inside of my knee. That because the fight would have been over if I because it was just 4 weeks and I had gone to physio every single day to make sure everything around it was solid, but all she had to do was like tap the inside of my knee and I would have been done, and it didn't happen. I ended up winning that fight. It was with Juliana Lima, I think it was. Yeah, that was the worst injury I ever had.
Okay. What do you hope your legacy is one day when you're done with the sport? How do you hope people remember you?
I hope people remember me as like the person who just never made any excuses, never took time off. Like never, like I took whatever fight that was handed to me. I didn't care, and I mean maybe I should have, but just like I'm a hard worker. Like I don't like if anyone who's ever trained me knows that I don't like make any excuses. I don't take any days off. I don't
Mhm.
take any sick days. Like this, it's my passion. Um, and like I don't know, just I'm a hard worker and I'm a badass.
You are.
Like like I sit back, I'm like, I am a freaking badass. I freaking the injuries I've had, and I just showed up anyways, and I fought through them. And when I hurt my knee, I went in to the gym anyways, and I told the coaches like, train me for what I can do. Don't train me
Hmm.
for don't give
Right.
me a day off because I can't walk. I still have arms. That's who I am.
That's awesome. Um, because I try to reach people that might be struggling in life with different things with these interviews, if you had a message to share with people about not giving up, uh, continuing on, what would that message be? How did you get through what you dealt with growing up?
Um, well, I it was difficult for me because like my family didn't support me at all because I'm a female doing this, and like I said, like I would try to get my family free tickets and stuff, and they
Hmm.
still wouldn't show up. It's just absolutely no support at all until you make it. And one thing is like, just don't give up what you're doing. Like if you something you're passionate about, if you're passionate about it, just keep going, and eventually your passion will pay your bills. Like it's
Absolutely.
all I did. All I did, like I was a pharmacy technician. I was working full time. I was training full time because no matter what I was doing for everybody else, this was for me, and I
Hmm.
didn't want to let it go. And it made me happy. And whenever I walked into the gym, I left everything at the door. All my emotions, all my baggage, all my anger, everything was
Right.
at the door, and I went in and did what I love to do. And as long as you do that, as long as you have passion for it, it's going to take you somewhere. You have no control of that. It's going to take you somewhere. Just keep following your dreams no matter what anybody else says and does. I don't know. That's all I did.
Well, big shout out to your mom. But with what you have told me in this interview and some of the research I did beforehand, she is an amazing lady, and it's not hard for me to see where you got your badass from.
Yeah, definitely my mom has been through a lot, like with the physical abuse at home, with
Hmm.
all the stuff that she went through, like escaping the Middle East and having three children, and then having another. She had my brother when we got here. She gave birth to my brother like a couple months later. And then like my dad was missing all the time. She raised four kids on her own. I got two, and that's brutal. She had four, and she traveled here with all like
Hmm.
most of us, and
Wow.
and then all of that, like with the abuse and with the language barrier and all this stuff that she had to go through, and then getting a job and raising
Hmm.
us, and never having an excuse. And every morning she would put a smile on her face and act like nothing happened, no matter how bad the night before was. She would just
Hmm.
put a smile on her face, make breakfast, say, "Come eat." It's like, are you serious? And that's where I get a lot of my strength from. And no matter what's going on in my life, it's like I look back at her and think, man, she made no excuses. I should not be saying anything.
um, I know that you are again a new mom. About what, maybe a month and a half now? Maybe a month and a half.
uh 4 weeks, almost 5 weeks, yeah.
Okay. Um, I know how old you are. I'm not going to share it with YouTube, but I wanted to let you know I am 45 and I have a 6-year-old.
Oh.
Good luck.
I know.
I never expected to have a child this late, and I don't know if you expected to or not, but it's a lot different than doing it at 30.
Yeah, I always wanted kids, and that was one thing. Like, I'm kind of happy with the way things worked out, because I don't know if I could have had kids if I waited a little bit longer. You
Hmm.
never know. Everybody is constantly in your ear telling you you're getting older, you're getting older. The pressure and everything. So
Right.
I'm happy, but man, two under two. believe what everyone says. 2 under 2 is the craziest thing that you will ever
Mm-mm.
experience. I don't even need sleep anymore. Like I don't even know what that is. Like it's just crazy.
It's
And then
the most wonderful, horrible thing ever.
especially like I had a C-section, so I'm still
Okay.
recovering from that. And my 1.5-year-old, she just wants to climb me and wants me to
Mm-hmm.
carry her along with
Mm-hmm.
the newborn. It's like,
Yeah,
the hell do I look like?
it's fun.
No,
All right. What do you have going on these days other than being a mom, training at Luter's Gym? What are some hobbies that maybe you have? What do you do to pass the time?
so I don't really have any hobbies now, but
Right.
I I did boxing up until I gave birth. The
Okay.
first and second child. So I'm back in Windsor right now in Canada, and yeah, I need something. I need an outlet. I love MMA and I love fighting so much that I needed to do something. So I'm boxing. I boxed all the way up until 8 months.
Okay.
Eight and a bit
Wow.
or something. Yeah, and I felt good, but then I got to a point where like I literally couldn't
Sure.
couldn't do the things that they were doing over there. And yeah, I'm waiting to finish my recovery and go back into MMA or go back into boxing and see from there.
Okay. Can we expect sometime in the future to see you in an MMA match again?
I definitely want to go into boxing for a bit, and then
Hmm.
yeah, I honestly, my mind says yes. Like I don't know what my children are gonna tell me.
Right.
Like I don't know what everything like what life looks like. But right now it's really difficult. My hobbies are changing diapers and burping my baby. But
Yeah.
hopefully things change when he gets a little bit older. But
Gotcha.
I haven't closed that door. I don't think I ever could.
I hope you don't. I would love to see you fight again.
Thank you.
Uh,
Hopefully.
what what's the best way for fans, friends to keep up with you? Um, hear about what's going on with the babies, boxing, fights. How can we follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Randa Marcos. On Snapchat, Randa MMA, I think. Facebook, Randa Marcos. I've been kind of MIA for a little bit. Just like insecurities and all that stuff. But I know I should just start posting. But I just need to get back into posting more. But when I get some sleep, hopefully I'll get back into it. But yeah, you can follow me on all my social media accounts, and I'll be on there soon.
Okay. Are there any other announcements or things you want to share that people need to know?
Just that I haven't shut the door on MMA. I haven't shut the door on like boxing or anything like that. I'm really looking forward to I stayed in shape through my pregnancy, and I'm actually back in shape now that I've given birth. And I'm hoping to, as soon as I'm healed from the C-section, I'm hoping to get back in there, and hopefully I will put on a good show. I'm really excited about it. I got actually an offer not long ago while I was pregnant. I turned it down, but it just gave me hope. Like, yay, people are still wanting to
Hmm.
see me. So hopefully,
Awesome. Randa, I'm out of questions. I want to say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for coming on this channel. I have no doubt that what you've shared, somebody's going to hear and get something out of it and be inspired. I tell everybody at this point of the interview, we've talked enough now that I consider you a friend. I hope you consider me one as well. I'm going to tell Justin, thank you so much for introducing us. I'll upload this and send you a copy. If for any reason you don't like it, let me know. I'll take it down. If the audio's messed up, if I've got a booger, anything, any reason you don't like it, let me know. I hope you love it.
all right. Thank you so much for reaching out. And
Absolutely.
honestly, I haven't done any interviews. I've turned everybody down just because, like, so I really like because you're Justin's friend. I was like, yeah, for sure, I'll do anything for Justin.
Awesome.
He's awesome.
Justin is amazing. He's introduced me to a lot of people, including yourself, and I wouldn't have been able to hopefully inspire as many people without his help. So thank you, Justin, and thank you to you again.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.